Let's go.
Welcome to the championship favourites of 26-27 season, Aston Villa. Villa Park podcast. I can't even say it properly. Yes, this is your Lions Raw match reaction show after Aston Villa have lost 3-0 to Crystal Palace. And yeah, it is not looking good at all. We might have some people jumping on and joining us to have their say. I've got Sam with me right now. Please hit the like button. Give us something to be slightly happy about. Hit the subscribe button. I do want to hit 6,000 if we can as soon as possible. We've got 30 or so to go. And get your comments in. We've already got a few flying in already. Absolutely diabolical from Villa, seeing better movement in the game of Sabutio. Utterly pathetic, says Mark. FM Rage says, I've seen a pigeon in my bird bath today and watched him for 6 minutes, and I can safely say I enjoyed that a lot more than that shower. Utterly deflated, says Michael. Yes, Curry, we are going to speak about a certain right back. Villa 946 Champions League to Championship. What has happened to our team, Sam?
I don't know. It's hard to explain. What we just watched. It's just so infuriating. The most infuriating way to lose a football match. Just have all of the possession and have Palace practically laughing at us whilst we've got the ball, just watching us ship it around the back, and then them knowing that all they need to do is just wait for Matty Cash to get the ball, do something stupid, and then they can hit us on the break. And it's one of those where Palace had 3 shots on target by the time they were 3-0 up.
Mm-hmm.
Just toothless going forward, frail, weak defensively, just clueless in the middle. Poor keeper's been chucked in, doesn't know what's going on. His 4th day in England, he didn't even know what's going on.
Mm-mm.
You know, it's hard to explain because we're so poor everywhere. You know, you've got players like McGinn who give 100% but just don't have the quality. And you've got players like Rodgers who have all of the quality in the world but give 0% effort. Doesn't even put enough effort into to take a first touch. When he passes the ball, he does these stupid little flicks with his heel and with the outside. Put your foot on it, man. Just put your foot on it. He's got all the talent in the world, Morgan Rodgers. The way he's moving, you think that he won the Ballon d'Or 6 years in a row, not the PFA Young Player of the Year award, strutting around like it's Cristiano Ronaldo in his pomp. It's a squad that's depleted. You can see that by the subs that we made. Moving Conser out to right back cost us a goal. You know, Matty Cash just should not be playing football for any professional football team. I've said it time and time again. I've been saying it for years. The guy's a liability. We can't pin it all on Cash, but he just never helps. Horrible going forward. His crosses are terrible. He's terrible defensively. Loses the ball under no pressure. Just does nothing. Adds zero. Adds no value to this team. And then you've got Unai Emery, who once again gets outsmarted by Oliver Glasner, and he has his number.
Does he even have to be that smart at the minute? Does any manager have to be that smart?
No, because it's the same thing. All you have to do is watch Newcastle, watch Brentford. Just sit back, let Villa have the ball. They'll tire themselves out. They're not going to do anything. They don't have any creative impetus, you know. But the thing is, you keep going up against Glasner and Palace with the same tactics. It's like. Was it Einstein who said, was it insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result?
Yeah.
Change it. Just do something different. I just can't. I can't. I mean, that VT at the start really should have just been all of Emi Buendia. The only player who actually did anything today, who tried anything.
And I've slated him, but he was well. I can't say anyone was really good, but he actually showed some movement. He showed some impetus. He actually put some tackles in. I mean, it comes to something when like the Villa fans have the biggest cheer for when he wins a header that was kind of like a 60-40 against him. And that was it. Like, no, who was actually winning some challenges today? Who was actually trying to, get something going? Like, who actually took some responsibility and tried to beat a man? Like, it was just. I mean, have we just got a bunch of bottle jobs in our team? Like,
yeah, we do. Do you know what it is? The players that are left, Rich, are the heritage, the legacy players, the ones that we came up with, and who got us, to the top half of the table. And then it was the influx of the rest of the players. Like the players that we had today were like, it was the Dean Smith era, Conser, Mings, Cash,
Watkins.
It's just, I don't know. It screams a lack of quality to me. It screams a lack of quality, and we go back to last season, and we were dire in the first half of the season in comparison, relative to what we had been doing.
Yeah,
we're even worse now.
We got let out of jail by John Duran.
Well, we got let out of jail by John Duran in the first half of the season, and the second half of the season we got out of jail through a stunning first couple of months by Asensio and then Marcus Rashford. And that was. These are all players. Think about it. Asensio, Rashford, and Duran. These are players who could change a game on their own. That's the difference. You don't have that. You don't have players who are going to take the game by the scruff of the neck. It's like every single player on that pitch is expecting the person next to them to do something special. It's like, just have some balls, have some courage. Just do something, anything. Like, Marlon had a shot from 30 odd yards. And I was like, at least he's tried it. At least every single time we have a corner, it ends up going back to
Oh man, I'm sick of that. I'm sick of our corner. Now we've got Matty Cash taking them.
Who's putting Matty Cash on corners? You can't. Like,
what is McPhee doing?
If anyone has displayed that they have the complete inability to cross the ball, it's Matty Cash. So which knobhead has gone, do you know what? I'm going to whack him on corner. It's worse than Harry Kane taking corners at the Euros. I'm getting I had to calm down.
Yeah. No, it's good. This is what the Lions rule is all about, mate. I've got to shout. Yeah, go on. Sorry. I've got to shout out Danielis Domitius, who said who's £5 super chat, absolute legend, mate. Anyone defending Emery is in complete denial. We got outplayed by a team that played in Norway on Thursday. I'm going to circle back onto that in a bit in terms of the trust in Unai Emery brigade. But when I say bottle jobs, what I mean is, and you touched on this on when we chatted on Thursday about the situation where when we've been the favourites to win in a game, Crystal Palace in the semi-final, Sheffield United to go top of the table, Manchester United away after they've just absolutely stunk the place out in the Europa League final. We fail, and now these players are seeing Jacob Ramsey leaving, Emi Martinez leaving, and they're thinking like. It looks to me how they're playing is like they've got their shoulders hunched down. They're thinking, oh, well, they're leaving. Oh, this is a sinking ship. I might as well get out. And if an offer comes in for me, I think I'll probably leave. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like Rodgers is half foot out of the club. Watkins is half foot out of the club. If their agent gets a phone call saying, oh, so-and-so wants you, they'll be on the first train out there, and don't get me wrong, I'll be happy to drive them, most of them. But the point is they're playing for Aston Villa. Like, that's the point. Dust yourselves off. I'm getting to turn this to Steve Bruce here. Dust yourselves off, put your boots on, and actually work for the team. You're playing you're a professional footballer, and you're playing moping about the pitch.
I tell you how you do it, right? Mark Gay linked with Liverpool. is almost, I don't know how close he is to going. You never know what these rumors are, but it seems like there's very concrete interest in him from the Premier League champions, potential Champions League contenders. And what did he do tonight? He put his boots on because he's still contracted to Crystal Palace. He played his heart out. He's absolutely knackered. After he scored his goal, he just went and had a little lie down because he was knackered. And that's how you play the game. You're a professional. You still play for Palace. Emi Martinez, you got interest from Man United. You play the game because you haven't gone yet. And if you don't go, if they go and get their actual number one target and you have to come back with your cap in your hand and play for Aston Villa, what do you think you've done to the relationship that you've got with the fans? I don't mind him wanting to leave. If he wants to go to Man United because he's going to get 3 times the pay and he's going to play for an internationally well-regarded club, and it's like, go, mate. My blessing. You've done a lot for us. Very, very happy for you. But play the game. Play until you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, unless it's Unai Emery or Villa's decision to keep you out because we don't want to injure you because we really want you off the books, you make yourself available. I saw a picture on Twitter of him down a pub and someone was like, "Oh, Emery, you made my day." You haven't made my day. Get in a fucking dressing room. It's just, it's just
all this not in the right frame of mind to play and all this. Yeah.
What does that mean? Frame of mind to play? Are you getting paid? Are you getting paid 120 grand a week, 150 grand a week? Get in the right frame of mind. Did you come here playing 14 games in the Premier League over the last 10 years and you become a World Cup winner, the Aston Trophy winner twice, the FIFA Men's Goalkeeper of the Year twice? Have we not given you enough opportunity? Do we not deserve for you to play until you play for another club?
This is the thing, Sam. He'll go to Man United tomorrow and he'll put some bullshit message on Instagram about how Villa rescued his career and he's got to places he never thought he'd get to and played Champions League nights and he wants to thank the fans and all this bullshit. None of these. I don't know why football supporters like players and fall in love with players. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't care.
Yeah, but we don't deserve it, Rich. We don't deserve it because if he's playing shit, Matty Cash can't cross a ball. We all hate him. Honestly, at one point, I think Matty Cash is genuinely, I think he's a lovely guy. I've seen him do interviews. I've seen him play golf with, on YouTube with, what's his name, Jimmy Bullard. He seems like such a lovely bloke. And I hate myself for saying it. But at one point this evening, I was just praying that he got injured. I was praying he'd pull his hammy or he'd tear his ACL. And I don't want to wish bad on him because he's a nice bloke. But I just hate... Like, we're as bad. There's no loyalty in football. Not on either side. No. Jack Grealish gave us 100 million quid, and we still all hate. And we've ruined the relationship so much that he couldn't even come back. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I understand what you're saying. It's just the platitudes that they'll put on Instagram and all that. Like,
yeah, of course he will, but he probably means it to some extent. He probably does, but if Rich, we both like people who work, right? If someone offered you your same job for 3 times the money, you're not going to go, "Oh, do you know what? I bloody love Randstad. I do. I'm off, mate. I'm gone. I'll see you later." So don't expect that type of loyalty. I'm sure he respects us for what we've done for his club, but my point is, forget a loyalty and a sentiment perspective of it. From a business, from a professional perspective, you are contracted to play football. You play football for a living. I play football for fun when I can, when my back holds out. You play football for a living. You have not left yet. Get your bloody boots on. Get your shirt on. And Morgan Rogers, you say, "Oh, he's playing for a move," and no one's going to buy him when he plays.
No, I said in my match reaction, Morecambe wouldn't be bidding for him, let alone Chelsea or Man City or Liverpool.
I mean, Middlesbrough wouldn't take him back. Like, what is it? You cannot. And this is always the problem with players when they have a rise to stardom and a breakout season is how do they deal with it? Do they, do they have a bit of humility? Do they humble themselves and say, "Do you know what? I've had a brilliant season, but I can kick on from here. I can be a better player. I'm 22, 23, 24. I've still got so much to learn. I need to keep giving him all." And this is what I love about Mark Gay. He just showed it tonight. He wore the captain's armband. He led his team out, despite all the speculation. His post-match press conference as well was, just brilliant. He was just like, "Look, I play for Palace. I don't really like all this noise. I don't like being in the spotlight. Whatever will be. But I'm very proud to play for Palace and to captain my club." Do you know what I mean? That's how you deal with it. And even Unai Emery pre-match, we had a laugh about it. But even he's being childish. Like, they asked him, "Where's Emi Martinez?" "Marco Bizzo." "Why isn't Emi playing tonight?" "Marco Bizzo." "Is he going to be your number one keeper going forward?" "Marco Bizzo." Grow up. Grow up. What do you mean, Marco? Answer the lady's question.
I know. Just say. Oh, look, use the old not in the right frame of mind right now, or use there's things going on behind the scenes or something like that. Like, just give the standard answer. Yeah.
Well, or just say, there's obviously stuff going on in the background. He wasn't in the right frame of mind to play tonight, or he didn't want to play, or I didn't want him to play. Or just say he's not available.
Yeah.
Marco Bizzo. And then that Marco Bizzo, you've been saying his name 45 minutes straight in the pre-match press conference, and then he goes after 20 minutes and gives away a penalty. Have you ever seen a keeper come out and stick his leg out like that? He sticks his leg. You've gone for the ball, you've missed it. Just let it go. There are covering defenders, and this is what gets me as well. Is Tyrone Mings and Konsa made it back? They would have made the ball before Kamada as well. Just have a bit of like nous about you, and that goal as well. The one where that same goal, Matty Cash. The only reason that he gets in the first place because Matty Cash doesn't stay in line with the rest of the fullbacks. He's got minus football IQ. Just stay in line. You're playing him on side. Just look across the line. Look across. I've never played at a level of football like Matty Cash, but I know if I'm playing right back, I look across the line and I make sure that I'm in line with the rest of my defenders. Everyone else is in a straight line. Why is he back there? Why is he 5 yards back? It's just, mate. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. Everything was wrong. Nothing is clicking there apart from Buendia like being lively. And I don't even think it was a mass influx of quality from Buendia today.
No. That's what I said. That's what I said. Yeah. Just a bit of energy.
And it's so telling that that's the difference between a player who's trying to play and whatever the hell everyone else is doing.
Playing within themselves, playing to rule, just passing the ball safe. It's just so depressing. I can't put it into words. You can see what's happening on the pitch, but you can't put it into words as to the exactly what's happening. Well, it's shit. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is that is the word. But what I'm saying is that it's like the players are still doing the job, if you like. They're still passing the ball to each other. They're still getting into a space to receive the ball, but at the same time, they're not. At the same time, they're not doing that. They're not showing for the ball. They're not getting into space. They're not moving in with any sort of urgency. I mean, the amount of times you've seen Daniel Marlon.
Who?
Well, yeah. Actually, I didn't see him because
I didn't know he was playing for the first 8 minutes. Honestly,
players would get the ball and they'd be looking right hand side for Marlon to be pulling out wide off the shoulder of either the right side, the left sided centre back on our right hand side, or the full back, and he was just walking around. Like, you've actually got to show for the ball. If you want to receive the ball, you actually have to show for the ball. There's so many players hiding from the ball and just doing the safe option. I mean, even Yuri Tillemans was doing it, and that's saying something. He was particularly in that first half. Just I'll get the ball, and rather than trying to turn the man, what I'll do is I'll just pass it back to Mings. I'll pass it back to Konsa, and then we'll just go across the back again, and then I might get it back again. I'll just keep going back. That was happening time and time again.
The first comment in this chat, what was it? I've seen more movement in a game with Sabutio.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? Picture it in your mind, yeah? So Yuri Tielemans has got the ball just on the centre circle in Palace's half. He looks up and he's got nothing, no movement. Palace are playing 11 men behind the ball. They're saying, come on, let's see what you've got. Not even pressuring him. Take your time, mate. What have you got? What do you want him to... Like, and this is a genuine question. What do you want him to do?
Who, Yuri?
Yeah, what do you want him to do? He's got no options. He's got nothing. He can't drive with the ball because there's 50 Palace players ahead of him. He can't play it to anyone because everyone's being man-marked. No one's moving for the ball. He needs
to bollock someone then. He needs to tell someone to do it. Everyone needs to do it. Everyone needs to do it. I don't see... I'm not just singling... I'm saying that even everyone else was hiding, right? Everyone was taking the easy option. But even Yuri Tielemans was doing it as well. So, like, someone has to step up. If he's meant to be our best central midfielder, if he's meant to be... Like, like pass the ball forward and then follow your pass. Go beyond the man.
Pass
Like,
it forward to who, Rich? To who? I genuinely mean this. I'm not playing devil's advocate like usual. There's no one to pass it forward to because in front of him, he's got Will Hughes or Mateta or someone else. The players behind him are hiding. Like you say, they're hiding. They don't want the ball. They're hiding behind the men that are marking them. Who does he play it forward to? Yeah, there's no one. There's no passes available. And it's fine. Maybe he can start bollocking people and say, "Come back, show for the ball." But no one's showing for the ball. And when he doesn't have the ball, he's doing the same thing. It's a glutton. It's just an absolute array of errors from everywhere on the pitch.
I agree. He's like the quarterback who needs people, but I'm just using him as the example that he's
because you expect him to do it the least.
Yeah,
I get it.
You're right. He's usually the one who is always showing, always getting on it, always playing 1 and 2 touch, always like dictating the play. And even he was like, "I'll throw in the towel here." Like because of the lack of movement. I mean, fucking hell. That Gesson today, man, I don't even know if he knew he was on a football pitch. The guy was off the pace like crazy.
It's an absolute baptism of fire for him into Premier League football. He's had a total of 52 minutes.
Yeah,
in the Premier League, and Palace are a team that have our number. Let's make no bones about it. Right, Palace have got us on toast. Every single time we play them, I'm not even close to being surprised that they beat us today as comfortably as they beat us.
No, mate.
But this is what I'm saying. He's and can I just say one more thing? He's not a winger, and I want to make this really clear. He has played his entire career as a number 9, and we are constantly forcing players out of position. We've got Concert right back. We've got Rodgers on the left. We've got Gassan on the left. We've got Yuri Tielemans in the 10. We've got We've got
John McGinn at right wing.
We've got John McGinn at right wing. We've got Mings playing right centre back. We are just constantly playing players out of position because we've got no depth. We've got no options, and we are shoehorning our best players into positions that they cannot play. Gassan should not be playing left wing. He needs to be playing up top. If anything, the striker that we have that can play left wing is Ollie Watkins. Whack him out on the left because he's doing nothing. We've had 3 games so far, and he's done nothing. Nothing. Look at Mateta today, by the way. I know he got his goal from the penalty. That's fine. But look at the rest of his game. He wasn't having shots from everywhere. And he just controls the game as soon as the ball goes up. People don't even want to get close to him. There's no point in backing into him. And once he's got his back to you, people just stay off him and say, let him feed the ball off and try and track the runner. Mateta absolutely, all they need to do is get the ball into his feet or get it to him in the air, and he controls it, and then he sets Palace off. Ollie Watkins hasn't done any of that. Come deep, go out, do some, stay central firstly, because when he does pick it up on the wing, no one's swapping places.
No one's in the middle. It's exactly what I was just about to say. I know I've said that even Tielemans was hiding a little bit and not trying the difficult pass. And as you rightly pointed out, what is he going to do? Who's he going to pass it to? Because there was no movement. And I said this exact same thing against Brentford. Where's the rotation of positions? If you're playing Gesson, Marlon, and Rodgers, sort of as a 3, they should be interchanging positions. All 3 of them. You put Rodgers out on the left after you take Gesson off. You put Marlon up top after you put him on the right. So why can't they rotate positions throughout the game? If they're all equally as versatile to play in different positions, let them rotate into those positions in the game. At least make themselves a little bit more difficult to mark. And then beyond that, yes, get Ollie Watkins to drop deep and receive the ball, and then get people running in beyond him. That's how you beat it. Yeah, that's how you beat a team like Palace.
Lay it off and then turn. Like Harry Kane, I remember Harry Kane for Spurs, and he's one of the best strikers that we've seen in a generation. You say what you want about Harry Kane, he's a sensational player. When the ball wasn't coming to him, he, without being told to do it, by the way, and to almost to his detriment sometimes, he used to come drop deep, and then he used the rest of his footballing ability, which is his sensational passing, to feed the ball into Son, and he got Son to 20 goals that season. Because he wasn't getting the ball, he couldn't stay as a number 9 and just sit there in games having 7 touches in the first half like Ollie Watkins did today. He's like, I can't do it. I'm too good a player. I need to be involved in the game. But Ollie Watkins can sit there and hide behind, well, I'm not getting any chances. I'm not getting any service. No, you're absolutely right, mate. You're not getting any service.
Yeah, I know, yeah. You just stay up there, mate.
You stay up there. Don't worry about it. You know what?
Yeah,
You're right. It's not your fault. You stay
Yeah.
up there, and at least you have plausible deniability. You have a defense. Like, hey, I'm not getting the ball. It's not my problem. And I'm not blaming Ollie Watkins. I know everyone's going to say, oh, he's just jumping on Ollie Watkins. But it's the same for everyone. We started with wide players today. We've got Marlon on the right, who, again, I said this earlier in our chat before the game. Why the only one who doesn't think that Marlon's actually quick? He looks a bit chunky, if I'm being honest. Gassan on the left, we've never even seen him. I didn't see him run faster than 5 miles an hour today. Everyone's like, oh, we've got pace on the wings. We've got pace on the wings. And then we play it narrow. We don't even play out to the wings. We try and play it we play it around the back four and then wait for Maatsen to get up. And there's no overlapping. Maatsen, do you know what? Maatsen was actually a breath of fresh air in the fact that when we were going forward, he actually tried.
Second half he did.
Second half, but even in the first, he tried like the overlapping, but Gassan just couldn't find his feet.
Yeah.
That's why it wasn't working. But this is the thing. This is why.
Well, it's the trust as well, then, isn't it? Because Maatsen, the first 2 or 3 times that he runs forward and Gassan miscontrols it or gives it away, he's going to be like, I'm not doing this. He's just going to give the ball away.
This is the point. Like Gassan's just like breakdancing on the floor. Every time I see him, he's like on one knee and he's spinning around. I don't know what's going on, and it's just and I'm not calling him out because it's difficult. It's difficult to jump into the Premier League, play a game with like Palace, and also when there's clearly something not right in the squad. Like you have to. We can't sit here and say, "Oh, Gassan's shit." Like we don't know what he's.
No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. No.
You know,
well, this is the thing. This is the thing as well, Sam. Like it's. We'll obviously touch on the transfer window, and I will get some comments out. There's so many, and we've got 500 people in the chat, which is absolutely crazy. Please, guys, hit the like button for us.
Rich, I've got some good news for you, though.
Yeah.
Are you ready? This is going to make everyone feel a lot better. Clearly, we don't have the depth that we need. We don't have the players that we need, but we are on the verge of signing Victor Lindelof, ladies and gentlemen. So, do you know what? All of our worries, all of our problems, they're going to dissipate tomorrow when 31-year-old Victor Lindelof, who's played about 7 Premier League games in the last 5 years, he is going to be our saving grace. And that's what we need, another 31-year-old who can't play football. Which is really
Gary in the comments did say, is there any good news? And I was saving the Lindelof news for later on in the show. But yeah.
That's supposed to be good news.
Yeah.
No, we stooped. Is that where we're at now?
That's what I was saying, man.
Last year we were signing Asensio and Rashford. We had John Duran scoring 40-yard screamers against Bayern Munich. And our good news this year is that Lindelof is signing on a free.
There was a tinge of irony there, Sam.
If you weren't here, if it wouldn't have been you on your own, mate, I'd have gone by now because there's nothing good to be talking about. It's just. Do you know what? Actually, I'll ask you the question, Rich, before we move on to transfers and this and that. What
I was going to say was, so Roberts has to question it. Is it are Emery's tactics outdated? But what I was also going to say was on that, with regards to, you're saying Gesson's been thrown into the Wolves almost. Marlon's been just brought in from the cold. Even here, Maatsen to a certain extent. I know we were calling for it, but like, is this panic stations that he's going for now? Because it just seemed like a complete mess. The whole tactical plan seemed like a complete mess. And he was trying to get them to act calm and play the way that he wants them to play. But no, they couldn't. They had no relationship with the players, had no relationships with each other. Like we said about Guessand and Maatsen not having any sort of chemistry on the left-hand side. Obviously, Cash isn't going to have any chemistry on the right-hand side with Marlon or with anyone. So is it just a complete mess? And then you take the substitutions. He brings Bradley Burrows on for, I mean, it's not his fault, but what is he going to do? And then you've got Emery Buendia who made an impact, but then you bring in Lamar Bogard, Pau Torres, and Luca Dino on for like 5 minutes. It's all just a complete mess. It's all complete panic. Like what is the tactical plan here? What is going on?
The plan is what the plan has been, which is patiently build up the ball, try and find the spaces, utilize the man. But the problem is that people asking, are Emery's tactics outdated? It's not that they're outdated, it's that people have seen them year on year now, and teams know how to counteract it. And it's really simple. And you see this a lot. Like Brentford, second half, we had 78% of possession. 78%. They did the same thing. Just sit back. They cannot break down a low block. And I said this last season. I said this literally almost a year ago today. What is it? November last year. I said we cannot break down a low block. We don't have the creativity. And it's one of those things where it's. I said this on Thursday. It's not about we need to play a certain way. We need to be able to be flexible with the way that we play. Sometimes that look, if we were 3-0 up, then the way that we played today is perfect because we're retaining possession of the ball. We're forcing them back. They don't want to commit themselves too far because they know that we can play through them. It doesn't work when you're 1-0 down. And to our credit, we did try and change that in the second half. We started throwing long balls forward. The problem is all of the long balls were coming from Mings or Conser, and Ollie Watkins is A, not quick enough to get to these chances, but B, even when he does, there's no one within a mile of him. So we did change the tactics. We did go long. So it's not that we just played one way and it didn't work. We played another way and it didn't work as well. And this is the problem: is I don't know what system our players are suited to. Do you know what I mean? Like I look at the team, and this is why I say it's a lack of quality. It is what system would suit these players well, because you've got such a mishmash of different types of players. It's not like you've got really pacey wingers you build the team for it to play a certain way, right? Look at Liverpool. They've got ball players in the middle, people who can score from midfield. You've got overlapping wing backs. You've got really strong centre backs who do their job defensively and then go and contribute to corners. You've got midfielders who can play the ball, who can spray the ball, who can score goals. Look at Szoboszlai today, whipping a free. Like they've got players who have qualities that all contribute to the way that they want to play. We have a group of players, and all of them would suit a different style of play better. So it's not. It seems like the team now has not been very well put together. But people will argue, oh well, look, it's the same team. It's the same team that got to the Champions League. It's the same team that played against PSG. But what people don't take into account is that, yes, it's the same team as 2-3 years ago, but these players are 2 to 3 years older now.
Exactly.
And they're not the same players. They don't stay evergreen. That's, it's not everyone is James Milner. Players slow down. Players lose a yard. Look at Ezri Konsa. Ezri Konsa's been my favourite Villa player since he's been at the club. Sensational football player. Rolls Royce. We say it every single for the first 3-4 years that he was here, and then last season his form dipped. And this year, he just doesn't have that same air about him. We used to say no one dribbles past Konsa. Konsa just does everything right. And then if anything doesn't go well, it's because of whoever's playing next to him. Konsa, he's lost a yard. He's lost a yard. And because he's lost that pace, his inability to read certain aspects of the game is biting him in the arse. And not only that, but you're playing him out of position now. You're playing him at right back. People will talk about Sarr's goal. Yeah, he didn't do very well for it, but he was standing exactly where he would be stood if he was a centre back. And
you're asking him to change it with like 7 minutes to 8-10 minutes to go or whatever. So I agree. I think you're absolutely spot on with it. Yes, we can say, these players are great and they've got us to Champions League and they've got us to PSG in the quarterfinals, but ultimately there is a time when that becomes the peak of those players' abilities. And if you don't have the succession planning, if you don't give players that you've signed to potentially replace those players enough time on the pitch to be able to be given the chance to replace those players, if you don't, look at potentially selling them at the right time, bringing other players in, this is what happens. And ultimately, we're at a real. And I said this at the end of the season where I said all bets are off on any players leaving, because I was worried that there were certain players that were past their peak and would start to drop. And I said Alex Ferguson was the best manager at this. He got rid of players when they were just starting to plateau and get past their peak. And he got rid of them. And he brought other players through. And he obviously utilized his academy and all that sort of stuff. But we've held on to these players. They've been great, but we've held on to them. We've been loyal to them. And unfortunately, we haven't brought enough players through. And whether that be by poor signings and poor transfer dealings by this mastermind of transfers, Monchi, or whether it by Unai Emery with his blind loyalty to certain players, some of it is starting to come home to roost. And unfortunately, we're in a transfer window situation now where I don't know who or what is coming in. And then let alone that, are they going to be able to answer all of our prayers to all of a sudden become an expansive team and a winning team again, and a team that's going to challenge for the top 6? I don't see it.
It's difficult because normally a manager takes 3 years to build their squad, right? So they take a few years to build their squad. But in 3 years since Emery's been here, he's ended up with a worse squad than he had last season. And we have to. I don't like blaming PSR, but you have to apportion the blame where it's due, or you have to take into account things that are reality. And PSR is a problem for us, and it's meant that we've had to sell a lot of players that we didn't want to sell, and it means that we are restricted to who we can sign. But there's been no forethought. There's not been any foreshadowing, planning, and you've made signings that haven't worked, that haven't gone well. We bought 3 right backs since Emery's been here. We've had Garcia, we've had Adelkovic, we've had Kane Kester-Hayden, who's been farting around the first team for years, and we still are playing Matty Cash, who clearly is not a good enough footballer for where we want to be. Even if we were fighting relegation, I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't want him in the team because I don't trust him. It's not. We can't be 3 years down the line and still have a back 4 or a back 5 of Emi Martinez, Matty Cash, Ezri Konsa, Tyrone Mings, and Luca Dean. It's the same back 5. It's the same back 5 that Gerrard had. It is. It's the same back 5 as Gerrard had. It's the same back 5 that Dean Smith had almost. If you take away Luca Dean, it's the same back 5. And that is the worst thing is it's still our best back 5. Apart from maybe Deeney, you swap him out for Maatsen depending on the game. We've not progressed. We bought in. This is a problem last year. We built a lot of success over loan players. We brought in Rashford. Rashford, who's now playing at Barcelona. We had an option to sign him. Didn't sign him. Didn't sign him for 40 million, by the way, but did sign Gassan for 35. Makes sense to me. So it's and then you have the midfield. You've got talented players like Tielemans, who obviously has joined recently, but then you've also got players like Kamara, who was also here under Gerrard. You've got, Anana, who was at George. He's like a tampon. He's in 1 week and out for 3. I like that a lot. And then you've got players on the wing that you don't trust. You've got Marlon, who you bought in and didn't even register him for the Champions League. You've got, Ollie Watkins, who, is the definition of a purple patch player. He'll probably go on in January and score 10 goals in 10 games, and then everyone will be like, oh, look how class he is, and they'll forget that he hasn't touched the ball since September. And then you've got Morgan Rogers, all the quality in the world, but just can't be asked, mate. I don't know where his head's at. I don't even know where he thinks he's going to go. Spurs were interested, but they've just got Xavi Simons, who is an infinitely better player than Morgan Rogers right now, so they're not going to be back in for him. Where's he going to go? Is he going to go to Chelsea? Why do they want him? They've got Cole Palmer. Where's he going to go? Man United? Fine. Go to Man United. They're as shit as we are. You're going to go to Liverpool? They don't want you. You're going to go to Man City? They don't want you. They sold you in the first place. Where are you going to go? You're not going to go anywhere better. Like you're in Europe. You're playing in Europe with Villa. You've done well. You've broken into England, into the England setup. Which, by the way, no one talks about how well we get players into the England setup. Look at Rashford. Hadn't been in the England setup for 2 years. Plays, 3 months at Villa Park, and then he's back in the England setup. Morgan Rogers, Ollie Watkins, Ezri Konsa. We're playing. We do get people we're giving people opportunities. Just whilst you're here, if you're gonna leave. That's fine. But whilst you're here, just give it your all, man. It's unacceptable. It's inexcusable. There are no words to justify having a Villa shirt on your back and not trying. I don't care if you're shit. And this is one of the saving grace for Matty Cash. He's shit, but at least he tries.
Yeah.
And this is the problem: is people's heads seem to be in the clouds. I don't know if there's an issue in the dressing room. I don't know if people are unhappy. People are talking about, oh, Morgan Rogers looks like a guy who just lost his best friend. He's only known Jacob Ramsey for 12 months.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he lost his best friend.
He can get a helicopter to go and see him every day if he wants.
Oh no, my best friend's left to fucking grow up, man. Grow up. And then, but this is the thing. I don't know if there's unrest. I don't know if people are unhappy. I don't know. Unai Emery is clearly unhappy, by the way. He was pissed off before the game even started.
Yeah.
In that interview, you could see him. You see that he's fuming up. This is the problem. Like, I know he's a closed book and he keeps everything behind closed doors. And I'd love for him to just say, do you know what? I'm not. They've spoken up about PSR. He wrote some passive aggressive comments in the match day notes in the program today where he was talking about not wanting players who don't want to be with us through the hard times. Maybe a nod to Emi Martinez saying, things are obviously not going well. And maybe this is a thing. People talk about Emi Martinez. Maybe he's not jumping ship because necessarily he's even getting paid more, but he can see the trajectory that we're on. He knows that we've got financial issues. He knows that we need to break even under UEFA rules. And I want to make that clear. It's not about 120 million loss in 3 years like the Premier League gives us. We need to break even within 3 years as a football club. We cannot make a loss to not then be subject to further UEFA sanctions. Like, he can see, unless Villa are going to quadruple their revenue, which we're not going to, then they're not going to be able to spend. We're not going to be able to compete. We've got a bench with 7 keepers and 4 kids who've got school in the morning. Like, what are we? I get it. If he's like, this is not going in the direction I want it to go, who can judge him?
Lots of people in the comments. There's got so many comments coming in. Over nearly 600 in the chat. I'm really sorry, but I can't get through them. I'm reading and I'm trying to get the gist of what people are saying so that we talk about it. So thank you so much for everyone tuning in. Please hit the like button. Help us continue to grow as well. With about 30 away from 6,000, it'd be great to hit that tonight. Please do help us. Just click that subscribe button as well. And as I say, we're covering as many topics as we possibly can with regard to the comments that are coming through. Lots of people obviously talking about the manager, and people saying I've seen Paul mention that he's had enough. He wants Emery out. There's a couple of other people. There's other people saying give your heads a wobble. There's others talking about we could be the Spurs of last season where we win the Europa and we finished terribly in the league. But look, in the immediate future, obviously international break. But after the international break, you've got Everton away, Jack Grealish.
Watch him get a hat-trick. Watch it.
At their new stadium. And then you've got Sunderland away as well. And I mean, we could be looking at 1 point from 5. I don't want to be really defeatist and absolutely hope that this doesn't happen. But we could be 1 point from 5 games. We're 19th in the table as it stands at the moment, I believe. We haven't scored a goal. Like, what happens if we're 1 point from 5 games? Where do we talk about situations with manager and players and that there from there?
Well, before we do that, just before we miss it, Pineapple has asked us to shout out Stuart for his birthday. So happy birthday, Stuart. I'm sorry that you had to watch that. Assuming that Stuart is a Villa fan.
Happy birthday, Stuart.
Can only apologise.
What a great birthday present you have for you today. What a performance. Unless you're a Palace fan.
Look, everyone's got their own view on Emery. Yeah, that's Brett's view. Mine is not aligned with what Brett's saying, if I'm being honest. Like, look, we're all pissed off now. And we can, the problem isn't that we lost the game. It's that we can, just like I was saying about Emi Martinez, we can see where we're going. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like we've had a couple of unlucky performances and things we haven't got the results, but things are actually looking all right. We can see, we've got options. The transfer window has been good. It's been a pretty wholly depressing couple of months since that game at Man United. It's been pretty depressing. Let's be honest. Like we missed out on the Champions League. We didn't have a divine right to be there, but look how shit Man United are. They lost to Grimsby and just about beat Burnley by cheating on the weekend. And it's the problem with Villa fans is not that we've lost 2 games and drawn 1. The problem is that we just cannot see where the points are going to come from. We're not playing well enough. Our squad looks old and tired, and the players don't seem up for it. There's some unrest in the team. There's financial issues. We're all having to become accountants just to keep up with what the hell's going on. It's not a fun time to be a Villa fan because the future looks bleak. But for me, Unai Emery came in when we were 17th in the league, and we had very little money to play with then. He didn't really make any signings until, what was it? A year into his tenure at Villa. He kind of held his cards close to his chest. And I think, for me, Unai Emery has my backing for a good while longer. Like he needs to mess up so much more than he's already done for me to start calling for his head. I think my problem is where we talk about accountability and we say that's missing on the pitch, right? Players are not being accountable for their mistakes that they're making. And Emery kind of plays a part in that. Like, for example, Morgan Rogers tonight was awful. Just shocking. Couldn't make a first touch. Had 7 touches in the first half. Every single time he passed the ball, he just, he was doing it with blasé and carefree, like we were 10-0 up, and he was, Ballon d'Or winner. But he should have been taken off.
Yeah.
That sub at half time should have been Rogers off, not Ghassan. Regardless of how bad he was playing, at least he was touching the ball and he made some passes. He was getting the goals.
And Rogers, arguably, I mean, obviously we've got a few injuries and we were down to the bare bones because, like you said, we had 7 goalkeepers and 4 or 5 youth players on the pitch on the bench. But after his performance last week, he shouldn't have been starting, really.
Exactly. This is the thing. And Buendia, can he be worse? Like, this is the problem: is you don't know what Rogers is going to turn up. Because imagine you keep him on the bench, and then, like, even at half time when I said Rogers needs to come off in our group chat, you don't know what Rogers is going to come out in the second half. He could win the game. He could do. All it takes is one spurt of brilliance from Rogers. And the problem is he's the only player in that team who has that spurt of brilliance. Do you know what I mean? He's the only one who has it. So he's a hard player to take off, but he needs to be held accountable for his poor performances and his bad attitude. I'm not saying his attitude is bad, like he's, I don't know what his attitude, I don't know what his outlook is, but I don't like the way that he's playing. He's not playing with the urgency.
He was throwing his arms up a bit on the pitch. And
yeah, I don't want to I don't want to do what we always do and say, oh, he's a bad kid. Like,
no.
We don't know if he's got a bad attitude. We don't know if he wants to leave or whatever. I just didn't like his lack of urgency on the pitch today. And that shouldn't be rewarded by game time. You should take him off. But when we're talking about accountability off the pitch as well, we need to start taking a look at some of the signings that we've made. We have to. We have to take a look at it because we've made so many that were so poor that we're still playing, like we've said it before, we're playing the same team that we've had for 3 or 4 years, the same key players. And we have spent money. I know that we sold a lot of those players. We bought Duran for, 20 million or just under 20 million, sold him for 70. We bought Diaby in for 50 and sold him for 60. Like, I know that we've had to sell these players to stay in line with whatever the financial rules are, and we've made a profit on a lot of players. We've made the third or the second most amount of money from youth players or from academy players in the league, over the last few years. Like, I understand that we are a selling club, whether we like it or not, but the club doesn't seem to have a strategy for signing players for a long-term solution. Like we need, look at the way that Palace buy players, look at the way Brighton buy players. Every single day Brighton are selling another player for 100 million or demanding 100 million for another player. Like, even, you have to look at getting some gems. Emery keeps looking to old, tried and trusted, superstars to bail us out on loan, or like look at even the people we're in for. Not that we're going to get any of them, but Asensio and Paqueta and 28, 29-year-old players who with good pedigree and a great reputation. Like we as a club need to be better at finding the Morgan Rogers, the John Durans, the younger players who we can develop. Like look at Pau Torres, shit. You know, loads of other players that you know we need to invest in going forward. And even if we end up selling them, we have that Brighton model where we buy a player for 20 million, but we sell them for 60, and then we go again and again and again. Even if that's the model, we have to start doing that. We can't keep buying players like Dendoncker and you know the people. There's no return on investment.
Or buying players that we pay a lot of money for, like Maatsen, Onana, and yet admittedly Onana's been injured quite a bit, which is not great, but not playing them, because how are they then going to, like I said, how are they going to succeed the players that are aging, like Luca Dean? How are we going to, what's happened to kind of, you know, you say yourself, we've gone back to Konsa and Mings as being the best centre-back partnership. Like, where's the players coming through? Yes, we signed this Ozcan kid, but he's going out on loan with an obligation to buy. I'm not saying that he would have been the answer. He's only 19, 20, but surely there's 22, 23, 24-year-olds that you can sign and bring them through. Like, we're signing Victor Lindelof at 31 years of age. Why exactly. could you not give the lad who we've sent, Josh Feeney, who was sent to Huddersfield on loan, and could we not give him a shot? Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, why not give some young players a run at and a go to then increase their value, and B, see if they're good enough for the first team, and also the big signings that you do make, give them an opportunity in the first team to increase their value as well.
He doesn't do that, Rich.
I know, and it just
he doesn't play youngsters he's bought.
Yeah,
he bought Nadal, didn't play him. He bought Garcia, who doesn't play him. Like he brought in Marlon and didn't play him. He spent
it just seems so haphazard. Like Monchi's this. I kind of get it. Like, you're signing loads of players across Europe, 17, 18, 19, 20. I kind of get it. And you're almost creating like a bit of a farm of players. But what we're doing is we're signing them for 7 or 8 million, sending them on loan with an obligation to buy for the same price. I don't get it.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. That with that Turkish lad, what's his name?
Ozcan.
We bought him in, shipped him out immediately on loan with an option to buy for the same amount that we bought him from. What are we doing? Play him. That Redmond guy who's going to, where's he going?
Huddersfield at the minute. It looks like there's a few clubs interested. Ilian Jr. is going to West Bromwich Albion.
Why did we buy him? We didn't buy him. I know we got forced him when we tried to shift Douglas Luiz, but Barrenechea, everyone was talking about at the start of the season. Would he not have been a good option? What did we get for him? He's gone on loan with an obligation.
You might get 15 million euros for him.
15 million euros.
You said it yourself, Kane Kessler-Hayden. Like, what would he have done any worse than Matty Cash has done if you'd have given him the benefit of like 10 games in the Premier League?
But this is what I'm saying. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. And we keep doing it. We keep playing players who are giving us the same output and the same results week on week. They're doing the same things. They've got the same issues, and we're not changing it. I know that we don't have the squad to change, but this is the problem. This is why Villa fans are annoyed. It's not about the results. It's about the lack of strategy and what is perceived to be a lack of direction. But in terms of results, you can't argue with Unai Emery.
No.
Europe season on season. Last season, you know, we lost out on the Champions League by goal difference to Newcastle. And fine, we should have beaten United at Old Trafford, but they're our bogey team. We never beat them. You know, you can't put 40 years of hurt at Old Trafford on Unai Emery. You know, there's a stigma about it. We don't beat Man United. Like, you can't. This is the thing. You have to be balanced. If you're going to be annoyed about all of these really legitimate things that the club is getting wrong and Unai Emery's getting wrong and Monchi's getting wrong, you have to have perspective and give him credit on the other side and say, look, there's too much success to turn on him this quickly.
Oh, mate,
we can voice our concerns.
Yeah. Look, Massive thanks to you, Ryan, as well for £5 super chat. Up the Villa, absolutely. And Ken, will give you a shout out for your £2 super chat as well. Massive appreciation. Look, absolutely. I am nowhere near an Unai Emery out camp. Absolutely not. I mean, look at some of the dross that we had to put up with Steve Bruce, and some of the dross that we had to put up with Steven Gerrard. So absolutely not. But at the same time, look, criticism has to come in. We've talked about it, about the same tactics being slightly found out, some of the haphazardness. And yes, we know there's been mitigating circumstances. And I'm not just going to be a person on Twitter or X or whatever it's called saying, trust in Unai Emery, trust the process, do this. I'm not like, I'll call it out if I see it, and people can agree with me or not, but I'm not going to be just in the Emery, trust Unai Emery cult. Absolutely not.
We're in the middle.
Absolutely not.
We're in the middle, Rich. It's yeah, I do trust Unai Emery because he's got a track record and he's
yeah, but I'm just not going to just keep saying it. If someone criticizes, I'm not just going to say, "Oh, trust Unai Emery."
No, he's earned time, but it doesn't mean that just because I trust Unai Emery doesn't mean I'm not going to question him. And I'm not going to voice things that are clearly wrong. We are the only team in the Premier League, and I don't even know if it's in the 72 in the whole of the AFL. We're the only team not to score a goal yet. Do you know what I mean? Like things are clearly not going well, and I can't. As much as I love Unai Emery, and as you know, think about the times that he's brought to Villa recently, and the success that he's brought to Villa. So he's earned like loyalty, and he's earned it even more now because he could have done a Martin O'Neill, by the way, when he found out that we were in the pits with the money, and he could have fucked off. Because by the way, Unai Emery could go almost anywhere, and don't forget that as well. Unai Emery can go and manage almost anywhere after what he's done at Aston Villa. So he's shown us a loyalty as well. And he said it today, you have to be there when things go bad. And he in his pre-match notes in the program, he said, we have to all have the mentality that we are lucky to be at Aston Villa, that we're at one of the best clubs in the world. And that's how we should be, whether the times are going well or going bad. And I think he's clearly talking not about performances on the pitch, but he's talking about the way that things aren't going off the pitch with the finances. So he's earned loyalty, but I'm not going to sit there like a ghost, like a little sheep and just, we lost 3-0 to Palace. We haven't scored a goal. We haven't looked like scoring. We haven't had a proper shot on target in 3 games. I'll trust Emery. That must be his game plan. It clearly isn't his game plan. It's going wrong. Something's going wrong. Clearly not. Yeah, this is not what he wants. Perfect. And if you think that's what he wants, trust Emery. You think Emery's sitting there going, "Oh, it's all going to plan. I'm not going to." And you're a moron. Okay.
Victor Lindelof, get him in. He's going to be the answer.
If anyone sits there thinking that at the start of the transfer window, Unai Emery was like, "All right, number 1 target, Victor Lindelof. Let's get him in." He's probably fuming that he has to sign him.
Oh no. Let's go through the targets. There was John Lacumi, Enzo Boyomo, Jadon Canvo, all of them that Canvo's going to Bournemouth, isn't he? Boyomo, I think, might be staying at Osasuna. There's been Gertruda, who we've been rumoured with. He's going somewhere else as well. That Lacumi looked like he's going to Sunderland, and then so he's reading Monchi going. So who have we got? Have we got Lacumi? It's not looking good. I think he might go to Sunderland. What about Canvo? Nah, I think I'll be like, well, get Gertruda. We were after him for ages. It doesn't look like we can do it. Puts the phone down. Hey, Monchi, who we got? Well, couldn't get any of them, but I tell you who we have got for you. Victor Lindelof.
Actually, whilst I've got you, Unai, it seems like Emmy's off. So we're going to need you to do the pre-match conference tonight. And I just need you to keep saying Marco Bizzo as often as you can. Don't give any answers because we don't actually know what's going on yet. But we will let you know when we know. But the transfer window is closing in 24 hours. Do we have any idea what's going on? Not yet, mate. But apparently there's a guy in Porto who someone wants. So we're going to try and get rejected by him before the end of the window. But at least we're making it very public that we're trying to sign players. Oh my God.
What we'll do is we'll tell everyone we're after Lucas Paqueta as well from West Ham.
Sorry, actually, I'm just watching the game. It turns out that he's done a pretend phone, thrown it in the bin, and then kissed the badge. I don't think he wants to come. But Wait, but aren't West Ham terrible? Are they? Are they not almost certain to go down? Yeah, it still seems like a better option than Villa at the moment. So we'll get back to you, and don't worry about it. But hey, remember, Lindelof is in. I'd be fuming. If I was him,
it was a free transfer at the start of the transfer window, so we could have got him in at the start, let alone wait till the very last day.
I wouldn't be surprised if, that reporter was asking all those questions and he just kept saying Marco Biza. I would not be surprised if Marco Biza was secretly Spanish for fuck my life. If that was, they just keep saying it over and over again. It's one of those things, man. It's like, we need this transfer window to end so that we can just focus. And I said this on Thursday, didn't I? I hate that the transfer window is still open whilst the season started, because everyone's heads are just off with the fairies, and it's difficult. We haven't been able to concentrate on the football yet. We're still talking. We're not even. Normally, it's who are we going to get in before the end of the season? But right now for Villa, it's who else are we going to lose?
Yeah.
Who else is going to go? Maybe Morgan Rogers is going to go. Maybe Dibbo's going to go. Maybe Emery Martin is going to go. Maybe Watkins is going to go. Until yesterday, until Newcastle signed that giant from wherever the hell he came from, that 6'9" Peter Crouch lookalike. There was talks about Ollie Watkins going to Newcastle, and you'd understand why they want to jump ship. So it's one of those, mate. I think tomorrow is going to be very telling, and nothing's going to happen tomorrow that's going to make us excited, because I wasn't even excited about Paqueta, and he was our big target. He was the big 45 million, signing that everyone was looking at, and I didn't even want him. So I think, but tomorrow will be telling. We'll find out who we've got. We'll find out who's here until January at least, and then we'll move on from there, right? There's nothing else we can do. The main thing is once the squad is settled and we know who's here, then you start planning, and that's when you start demanding from Unai Emery that he fixes the mentality and the attitude, because that's not right. Forget the football. We're just talking about energy and enthusiasm to play the game, and getting your head screwed on and not throwing your arms up and arguing with the referee every single time you don't get a foul and this and that. Just play the game, even if we're getting hard done by the refs, which we seem to be doing. It seems to be every week at the moment, if we're being honest. But sort out the mentality, and then sort out the strategy, sort out the tactics. You need to go back to the drawing board and say, lads, look, I know I've asked you to play this way, and we are still going to do that, but in the appropriate times. We need to find something else. We need a different way of playing. I know that none of you are actually, like on FIFA, you play on FIFA and you just get chemistry, depending on how well. Our chemistry right now is zero. We've got players playing out of position. We've got players whose styles don't suit the players in front of them or next to them. It's just a mishmash of, half-talented footballers. So we need something.
What we got to do on FIFA is, instead of sitting back like that on your control pad, you need to lean forwards when you mean business. Did you ever used to do that on FIFA?
Oh yeah. I get the old controller out. You sat on the cursor.
That's what Emery needs to do. He needs to stop.
He needs to lean forward.
He needs to lean forwards, and now he means business.
I really wanted to catch his post-match conference before we came on.
He's just said some standard stuff, really. He said, I'm sad for the supporters and sad for the result after we were being successful here at home for a long time without losing. We played the first half good, but we needed more offensively. We had one very good chance with Ollie Watkins and we didn't concede a lot, but we made one mistake and they scored. In the second half, we were trying to speak about how we played the first half and how we were keeping the same game plan and trying to do something more, and we started very well. We were dominating, getting in their box and creating some chances. But the second goal was the difficult moment, and the third goal was punishing. We have to accept this defeat and try to keep balance.
You can't keep the same game plan and do more. It's a contradictory statement. You either change the game plan and do more, or you do the same thing. And it's one of them. I think. Again, we're talking about results and why Emery needs time. That was the first time we've lost at Villa Park since September 2024. You can't. The Unai Emery out crew, whilst I understand why they're annoyed, you have to put that into perspective. We haven't lost
Yeah.
in any
No,
competition,
absolutely. Yeah,
including
exactly. Champions League.
PSG
Yeah.
and
Bayern
Bayern
Munich. Yeah.
yeah, and Juventus, and all of these things. We have not lost at home in a year. Just, I know it's hard because I personally don't see where the change is coming from. I don't think Unai Emery is going to wake up tomorrow and go, right, do you know what? I'm going to start doing things a bit differently around here. And actually, do you know what? We've found £1 billion under the couch. So it turns out we can spend after all. Like, these problems are not going to resolve themselves immediately, but you know the base reaction without all of the sentiment and the emotion and the heatedness after getting battered by Palace yet again is the sensible reaction is just you have to give the man time. He's earned it. He's earned it, and it's going to be painful for us. But I'm not saying give him time because he's earned it, but because he has a good track record. But give him time because he very well may turn it around. And Unai Emery works in mysterious ways. You don't know how he manages to pull off half the things he pulls off. But, it's not that just give him time because he deserves it, but he's destined to fail. Like, he might turn it around. And I think we should support him in that. That being said, I'm not supporting Matty Cash. He can fuck off. I don't want to see him play again. I really don't. I'm not even kidding. I don't want to see him on the pitch again. I don't want to. I'm done. I'm done with it.
Well, let's hope Andres Garcia is the answer to all our right-back problems. I think we will call it a night there. Thank you, everyone in the chat. I think we pretty much got 600 watching on X and on YouTube. So thank you so much. I feel like it was a bit of a therapy session for everyone. Please follow Sam at Samwise_UTV. Follow me at Villa Park Pod. Hit the like button and subscribe button on your way out if you haven't already. We had, I think, around 300 watching at one point on YouTube, and we had 80 likes or 81 likes, I think it was. So let's hit that. If we can hit 150 before we finish up, that'd be great. Yes, as Sam said, let's give him time. This is a difficult period, a difficult moment, as Unai Emery would say. As frustrating as it is, let's get us out of this rut that we're in. Let's get over this transfer window debacle and let's move forward after the international break. And hopefully we can get a couple of results on the board and be positive again. I'll be back with talking tactics, player ratings, fans forum on Tuesday, transfer window deadline day show as well tomorrow. I'll do a video rounding up and looking at the wonderful Victor Lindelof that's coming and maybe one or two others as well.
Through, Rich. I hope it falls
As always, though, thank you all for watching, and remember, we all follow the Villa.